and understanding last week how everybody was really interested in transcendental meditation techniques step by step. And so I created a presentation where I talk about the transcendental meditation and I talk about some really important parts of it, which a lot of people don't know. So that's why they're not able to reap the complete benefits of it. So I'm really excited to start talking about it. I think I'll just get going.
So we're going to go to sleep for a half hour?
There we go.
I didn't mean it like that. You're just going to put us in another Zen moment, right?
Zen moment. Yes, I would love to do that. And we are going to have a group meditation today. However, I do want to talk about what it is that happens during a transcendental meditation. So
can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
And I'm going to shut up after this. What's that a picture of? Is that Mount Everest or what other mountain is that?
That's a mountain that PowerPoint presentation gave me to make my slides.
Got it. No, because the reason why I'm saying is that my son just climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania.
Wow.
Tanzania.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
Yeah. So it took them 2 days to get up there, but 3 days to get down.
Wow.
2 days to go. Sorry, I keep my mouth shut.
Well, thank you for sharing. I actually really like that story. Climbing a mountain. That's exciting. So today's session is about you and how you are a magnificent being. And I really want to talk about these concepts, which I know are there in a spirituality, philosophy, and I am, being an engineer and a researcher, I talk about it through science and physics a lot. That is my area of expertise. So what we're really doing in a transcendental meditation is that you are taking steps to transform your life step by step. And what's essentially happening is that you are in your reality, very much awake and interactive in your reality. As you go into your meditative state and as you go into the deeper levels of the mind, you're essentially tapping into the much subconscious place. That place is your place of silence, your place of home, your place of peace. And as you go deeper into that place of silence, you start accessing the consciousness, the universal consciousness, the universal unified field. What's interesting about this universal unified field is that we are always in it. We are never out of the field. Just that cannot just be. We're always in this massive matrix of energy. However, we're not interacting with it all the time. What I mean by interacting with it, we're not aware that, okay, this decision and this thought is manipulating my reality in this way, or this decision and this thought is changing this for me. But it is. And what transcendental meditation really does is that it gives you a snippet of this consciousness, the feeling you get, the peaceful feeling like coming home. And once you come out of that meditation, you're still in that meditative state and you're very aware of your own energy. You're very aware of your own thought processes and you become intentional. A lot of people have benefited from transcendental meditation. So I put in some photos here, some people who I personally thought have really interesting stories to tell, the benefits they had from just going into the deeper levels of the mind. So I would first like to use something that Bob Roth uses. He is a teacher from the States and he teaches transcendental meditation. And I want to use an analogy that he uses. He says that when you are very awake, when you're quite in your regular mode, let's say you wake up, you're having coffee, you're looking at your emails, the brain waves are quite scattered at that time. It's like being at the top of an ocean. You see how there's just so many little waves happening, right? As you go to the deeper parts of the ocean, things become much calmer. Waves are not as much. It just becomes coherent, a very nice synchrony of waves in the deeper parts of the ocean. And that is very much synonymous to what happens to our minds. So throughout the day, it's scattered. And as we go deeper, we come into a very calmer place. That is like the gold, that's what you want out of that meditation. You've succeeded if you've attained that in your meditation. So Cameron, this lady right here, she is an Oscar nominated actress, quite famous. So she was telling a story where she started to meditate, and she learned transcendental meditation through a teacher, Bob Roth, the one that I was talking about. And she said that it helped her tremendously in her relationships as well. She started to come into a place of being where she started to get in touch with herself. She felt massive peace within herself, felt gratitude for the life she has, or felt gratitude for the health she has. And with that place of being whole, when she goes into her relationships, now she's not looking for that validation. She's not looking for that external attention, she's coming from a place of completeness. And so when she's meeting people, she has so much to offer because she's so happy with herself. And another incident she was talking about in an interview was when she had to shoot in extreme climates. So she went, it was -20, and she was in a tent, and she had some lines that she had to remember, but it was so cold. And so she said she was distracted by the cold, and there were so many people around her. Everybody's just trying to stay warm and in the tent remembering her lines. She wasn't able to remember the lines, just distracted by the cold. So she went into meditation. Now, our brain, it has synapses, and the synapses control the rest of our body. When she went into the meditative state, her intention was that she wants to control her body in the cold so that she can pay attention and say her lines. Otherwise, she'll be distracted and not be able to say it. So she wanted to come in complete coherency with her body. She went into meditation. She achieved success. It was a 10-minute meditation. She achieved success. She says her lines, and she's out very soon from that place. And she's like, that is for me a testament of how powerful our mind is. I can pretty much, mind over matters. Something which athletes use, something which mountain climbers use, something that a lot of people with physical activity who are doing strenuous physical activity, they use a mantra within themselves, mind over matters. Oftentimes, you feel in your mind that you can't push it any longer, but just when you decide that I will do it, your body starts cooperating. There is really no magic. It's just that your thoughts have a power over your body as well. Just to talk a little bit more about this thought and body connection, I'm sure everybody knows about the placebo effect, right? Taking a sugar pill, thinking it's going to heal you, but it heals you. What's happening there? The science behind it is that we have something called a neuropural system in our body. And what it does is that it goes to the damaged areas and starts to repair. If the patient is very anxious, if the patient continuously is thinking he's not healing, he's not healing, he's not healing, the perineural system is carrying that message to the damaged area of the body. And if the patient keeps thinking I'm not healing, that's the message the perineural system is carrying. But if the patient thinks I am healing, I am healthy, that is the message that's going to the damaged parts of the body, and they start to heal. So research shows that, tons of research now, that people with a positive mindset who are hopeful that they can get over a difficult health challenge are much more likely to get over it, as opposed to the ones who would think they cannot. And there is so much value in this, in the power of thoughts, especially when it comes to health. I can do a whole other workshop on it, but to give a line that can encapsulate everything, your mind has absolute control over your body. It listens to you all the time. So it's important to be kind to it. It's important to not say, I'm old, I'm old, I'm old. Say, I'm young, energetic, and I'm strong. If young is something that doesn't sit with you, it's not in alignment with how you picture yourself, say, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm blessed with a great body. Your cells are listening to you, and they're going to respond to you. We're a massively integrated, complex system, and our thoughts are precursors to great things and also bad things that can happen in our body. Now, moving on to Thomas Edison, this inventor right here. I love his story. It's absolutely fascinating for me to know what he was doing, because as an engineer myself, I know how complex things can get and how I can come in my own way in solving a problem, and I would not rest. So what Thomas Edison did, if you don't know, he created the light bulb. Why his stories is really powerful is because he knew this trick that when his mind calms down and when he goes into the deeper levels of the mind, he's able to have more intelligence and creativity. So he had something called the famous naps. So what he would do, he would go to nap in the middle of the day. Let's say he has a problem that he's trying to solve. He would go to nap in the middle of the day with a steel ball in his hand. As soon as he falls asleep, the ball falls on the floor and he wakes up and he has the solution. Crazy, right? He was able to nap multiple times and get ideas to himself. And you must be thinking, where is he getting ideas from? Well, we're all connected to this unified field. It has creativity, inspiration, ideas, strength, you name it, whatever it is that you want to bring in, you start focusing on that and that will appear, even solutions to things. So he was able to pretty much bring into existence some very critical parts of the making of the light bulb. So yeah, and who else? I also found, the amazing Wayne Dyer. He's my personal favorite. This man right here, he's no longer alive. He's passed away. I just feel I'm so amazed by the valuable content he has created. It's going to live for years. So if you've heard him talk, he talks about this a lot. Finding the peace within you during meditation and how it brings wholeness to you, and how that can pretty much make your life much more peaceful than it may be right now without meditation. Because we are hardwired as human beings to pay attention on things which can go wrong, that we inherently have a negative bias. We always look out for things that can go wrong. We can be in very anxious states. We can be in a state where we're thinking about everything and anything. With this noisy state, it's hard to function as an optimal human being. It's hard to function at your best potential. So you really need to get in the habit of bringing yourself in a place, in a meditative state, where you're synchronizing your brain. These are our brain waves. So during the day, our brain waves are at the beta waves, the very top. See how fast they are and how small they are. You're thinking, you're concentrating, you're solving problems. This is where a lot of work is happening. But at the same time, you can be working in the alpha state too. But this is the alpha state is achieved when you're calm, you're in light meditative state, passive attention. This is gold, and I'll tell you why. So most of the time we are functioning from the beta waves. Most of the times we have such scattered waves in our brain, and we're not able to really make the most out of our time. And we're not able to really make the most out of our intelligence because our brain is just way too scattered. People who start to meditate get into this level very often, the alpha waves. This is an excellent place to work from because you become focused. Whatever you do, you're able to focus on it. And whatever you do, you're able to give it your all. You're no longer thinking or having too many distracting thoughts. You're in complete coherency with your thoughts and in alignment with whatever it is that you're trying to focus on. So if somebody wants to be really focused at work, getting into a meditative state just for 5 minutes and then get out of it, you're going to stay in the alpha state. Excellent place to work from. You're so calm. Whatever it is that you want to focus, you start focusing on it, your productivity amplifies. A lot of Olympians love to function from the alpha state. And if you wonder why they love to work from the alpha state, is because we have the subconscious mind, the mind which already remembers. If you start driving, first you have to pay attention, right? I'm turning left, I'm turning right. After you know how to drive, it's already stored in your mind. You don't have to think about it. Same things happens with athletes when they go on a stage and now they have to perform. They have to go out there and perform. However, they can get anxious. They can get a stage fright, but they don't want to activate that conscious part of the brain. They don't want it to look like this, the beta waves, the extremely scattered brain. They don't want that. They want to tap into their subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is then going to allow them to work from a place of knowing whatever it is that they have. Sorry, are you hearing something at the back? Thumping sound? Okay, great. So in the alpha state, what happens is that they're not thinking too much. The anxiety, the stage fright, people looking at them, it's not distracting them. They're in a calm place and they use their subconscious mind. All the practice they have done is already stored in their mind. They're able to use it. The shots they have thought, I'm going to do the shot this way, they're just able to do it that way. However, people who are in the state of beta waves, and they do have those shots, they do have everything in their memory, whatever they have done, but because the brain is so scattered, they wouldn't be able to perform optimally. They would be able to perform, sure, but they wouldn't be able to do it optimally. Alpha state is the state that most athletes, or all athletes, I would say, they would want to aim for, a relaxed state where they're focused and they're able to perform and not get distracted. All right, so I want to talk about the brain a little bit. So you see, this is an illustrated scan, but this is to show what happens in our brain. If you look at the normal person right here, so many brain waves, different part of the brains light up in different frequencies. There's just a lot going on. This is a person that has unbalanced brainwave structure. They have patterns which are unbalanced. I'm just going to read this out. The unintelligible, unbalanced brainwave pattern with restricted thought processes, prone to anxiety, depression, and weakened mental and emotional health. Have you been there? I've been there. When you're like, what's going on? What's going on? And like, you're just like way too hyper. Your mind is scattered. You can't even be calm, but at the same time, your mind is in 10 places. It's scattered. When you start to meditate, you bring your mind into one coherent place, a place of peace. 15 minutes of meditation will allow this red zone, let's say this red zone is a place of peace. It's going to allow this red zone to start increasing in diameter. As you keep meditating, the red zone is massively big now. And there is complete symmetry. Light blue, green, green, yellow, yellow, red, red. Your left and right hemispheres are in complete alignment. There is peace in your brain. When you work now, you're working from this place. You're obviously going to result in a very high efficiency because your brain is working beautifully together. In this place, your brain is trying to just, butt heads. Your emotional side is also activated. The triggers are also activated. The anger is activated. The fight and flight is activated. How can you work from this place? Extremely difficult to function. As you meditate, after 25 minutes of meditation, harmonizing, balancing both hemispheres allows the brain to work in sync, making communication of thoughts, information, and responses more effortless, efficient, and coherent. A more integrated system produces optimal performance, functioning, and mental and emotional health. Whoever you ask who has been meditating, they're going to attest to that. If they have been meditating accurately, that is, especially transcendental meditations. You come into a place where you're in complete harmony with yourself. You train your brain to slow down, quiet down, and start focusing in an inner mantra. That could be anything. Or if you don't want a mantra, you can literally just focus on your breathing. You do it 5 minutes a day, you'll feel like a different person. Okay, so I want to talk about this part again, the consciousness. This is a really important part of all of this, which a lot of people don't know. The reason it's very important to understand consciousness and the unified field is because of the very nature of the unified field. The unified field that we're in is unlimited. As human beings, we are used to looking at things from a limiting perspective, right? Because we are so limited. I can only see so far. I can only run so fast. I can only jump so high. I am quite limited in my own being. I'm very much reliant in my sensory perception to make sense of my surroundings. This consciousness, the unlimited unified field, it is not a human being, not functioning within the limitations and capacity of our organs. It is completely unlimited. And just how we're talking about these waves, I want to talk about this waves. So waves are the nature of energy. Everything now in quantum mechanics, we know that matter and waves can coexist. The reason this information is useful for you to know is you would know that everything has a frequency. You right now have a frequency. Your thoughts have a frequency. My words have a frequency as they're going to you, and they have an impact on you. So as you start to train your mind to think in a certain way, you start to generate waves which are thinking in a certain way. Let's say that you're thinking, you have a habit that you're trying to create, which is, I'm going to start taking a 15-minute walk every single day. That's one thought. A second thought that can come is 15 minutes is not that big of a deal. I can pretty much take it out from any day. Every single day I can go for a walk. That's another thought being added to the thought you created. It creates more momentum. These two waves combined amplify because they're of the same nature, same frequency. But if you have a thought that I'm going to take a walk 15 minutes every day, you have a second thought that, that's too much work. Guess what happens? This happens. No result. You had a positive thought, you had a negative thought, you nullified them. So when these two thoughts, when they added up, because they were opposite in nature, they resulted in something called in physics destructive interference. No result at all. But there's something called constructive interference. That is when two waves of the same nature, they meet and they get amplified. That is exactly what happens with thoughts. You think one positive thought, you add another positive thought, you're creating momentum for yourself. After a while, you'll be compelled to take action with that momentum. In this unified field, because everything is energy, that means intelligence, creativity, love, whatever the vibes I'm giving to you right now, the intelligence I'm trying to convey, even that is energy. That means it is not limited by physical things. It's not limited by this laptop. You're still going to get what I'm saying to you. When we are in this energetic plane, there is a simple rule: like attracts like. People call it the law of attraction. The simple rule is because of this very nature of the waves. When a like wave is attracted to a like wave, it amplifies, makes a bigger wave. But when a like wave meets a wave that is not like it, it gets extincted. So the rule in the unified field is like attracts like. So if you are in synchrony with great things, peaceful things, you're in alignment with your true self and you're thinking about peace and calm, you're going to be bringing in more peace and calm to you. You're going to be feeling more peace and calm day in, day out. However, if you're because you're always interacting with the unified field, if you're thinking thoughts of scarcity, thoughts of bad health, thoughts of not being able to, anything which does not work in favor of you, you attract more of that into your life. So Wayne Dyer, Oprah Winfrey, all the people that were in the photos, they loved to talk about this phenomenon. They say this is the law of attraction. This is simply this very nature of the unified field, that when you think a certain thing, you'll get momentum and more things are going to be attracted to you of the same nature. So for example, if you think I want to go for a walk and that's a sustained thought. You're not thinking, okay, I'm not going to go for a walk. Sustained thought. You're going to then meet somebody who's, going to talk about benefits of walking. You're going to start attracting things of the similar nature. So you as a generator have one task. You start focusing on things that you like, that you want to have in life. If you want to bring a positive change, you start focusing on the positive change and not think about how it's going to happen. How can this happen? Or how can that happen? The how is not something we can orchestrate. Let that happen naturally. What you want is your part of doing. So you start focusing on what you want: happiness, health, peace, good friends, good family. Start focusing on the good, and you'll bring it to you goodness. And I know this sounds slightly spiritual. Maybe it also sounds slightly, is this just hopes and dreams? It really isn't. There is so much science to it. And it is very much a scientific phenomena more than a spiritual or philosophical word that you know, there's something called a man is as he thinketh. And so when I first heard it, I was, I didn't really understand it. This is something Wayne Dyer said. But now I understand it. What he was essentially saying is that you are how you think. So if I am my thoughts, if my thoughts are so powerful that as I start generating them, I start attracting to me things which are in complete alignment with them. So shouldn't I make an effort to consciously think good things? However, it can be slightly tricky, right? What if you're programmed to think in a negative manner? Most human beings are negative more than positive. We also have this negative bias, and we don't really learn to be positive throughout our lives. We don't really learn to be optimistic. Most of us operate from a place of prevention more than optimism. A prevention-focused mind is, I want to do this because I don't want this to go wrong. I don't want that to go wrong. Prevention-focused. What if you become optimist and you become positively focused? And you think to yourself, I'm going to do this because this feels great. You amplify the thought of it being great. You amplify the positivity of your actions. Then that's the life you start creating. You start looking at possibilities now. Now you're not thinking about, I'm just doing this because, for example, I'm going to take my pills because I don't want to fall ill. How about you think, I'm going to eat healthy and live a tremendously healthy life? So now your diet is really good. You're having juices, vegetables, whole grains. You're going for a walk, taking the sun in, consuming things which make you happy, having conversations with friends, paying attention to your body, listening to your body, start attracting great things, start focusing on the good. When you're focused on possibilities, you will only see possibilities. When you're focused on scarcity, you're going to be seeing scarcity. This is the law of attraction, but this is also very much science. A quick example I think we all can relate with is if you want a car and you start thinking about the car, all of a sudden you go driving and all you see is that car. Everybody's driving a Ford all of a sudden. That's really not what's happening, but you're picking up that. Your brain is going to continuously pick up that. You tell yourself, very few people drive Ford. Mostly people drive Chevrolet. You go out, you're going to be seeing people drive Chevrolet, and you're going to be seeing less Fords, not because now the world has changed because you thought it would change, but because that's what your mind starts to pick up. That's how your brain works. Whatever you focus on, your brain will work very hard to give you all the cues to validate that focus. So being an active component of this unified field means that our mind brings great things to us. I want to do a little experiment with you to tell you about the mind, and perhaps I can show you a video actually. So this is Deepak Chopra, and he is sitting with Oprah Winfrey, and he does this experiment with a pendulum. And it's a very fascinating experiment, and I would love for you to watch, and I would love for you to pay attention to what Deepak Chopra is saying, because he's saying something really, really interesting.
So if the mind, we're going to do this experiment to prove how powerful the mind is.
Yeah, there are many experiments you can do, but we can do the simple one if
Yeah,
you
let's
want.
do this, stick with that.
Can you hear it?
A lot of pressure here. And what does this mean?
Well,
Can you hear it?
why don't you do it?
Can you hear the video? Yeah? Okay.
Why don't you do it? Hold this string between your thumb and your forefinger. Just hold it. Rest your elbow comfortably on your thigh.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah. Rest it comfortably. I'll hold it still. Now, just while you're holding that still, mentally have the idea it's moving back and forth. Mentally have the idea that it's moving. Okay? Don't worry. It'll start moving. It'll start moving wider and wider. See, it's already doing that. Okay? In any direction you want. There you are. Now, once it's doing that, just change the idea in your mind that instead of swinging it like that, it's going to start swinging like this in a different direction.
Oh my
Mentally.
heavens.
See? Now, mentally have the idea that it's going to start making circles. Just mentally have the idea it's going to start making circles. There you are, see? Circles. Now bigger and bigger circles. There you are.
Oh my heavens.
Okay?
I didn't think I could do it. I was
See?
feeling a lot of pressure here.
Okay? Well, listen.
I
Now,
can't believe it's doing it.
yeah. And now have the idea that it's going to reverse the circle. So if it's making
Oh,
circles,
no, I don't know if I can do that.
just have the idea.
Okay.
Just have the idea.
That it's going to reverse the circle.
Yes. Just keep that idea in your mind. You see, your expectancy determines outcome.
Uh-huh.
And as long as you're not attached to the outcome will be guaranteed.
Okay.
Whenever we fulfill a desire, whatever that desire is, certain things happen. Number one, we expect a certain outcome.
Oh, it just
There
did.
you are.
It
See?
just did it.
See?
I can't.
And this is living proof that every cell in your body is eavesdropping on your internal dialogue. And by changing your internal dialogue, you can influence the chemistry. The
even
fundamental
Sally's impressed. Even
chemistry of
Sally's
every
saying,
cell.
I didn't think you could do it, but you did. Every cell?
Every cell. How would this happen?
Now, see, now this is amazing because if you can do this with a string,
Right.
it means you can do it with your life.
Yeah, you can do it with anything. You can fulfill any desire in life that you want, because inherent in having the desire is the mechanics for its fulfillment. I don't have the same desires as you because nature gave me those desires that nature means to fulfill.
All right. Exciting, right? So I have a pendulum too, okay? And I wanted to do this experiment in front of you guys because this happened on TV. So let's just, what if it was made up? What if, right? But let's try this here. So I'm going to first start to think that it's going from, I don't want to say it because I don't want to influence my sound, but through it, through the sound energy. All I want to do is tell you what I'm thinking. So I'm going to show you from my fingers what I'm thinking, and you would know, and you see how this is going to start behaving. So right now I'm thinking that I wanted to go from see, now I'm thinking I want it to go now I'm thinking I wanted to it to stop in the third one, and see, it's not moving. It is so powerful how we all are intricately connected, and yet we don't know. We can't see it. We can see anything being connected, but it is very much how this massive universe is. And people who have built the Bluetooth or the Wi-Fi, everything is now wireless. What is happening? How are they meeting each other? The signals, catching the other signals, photographs are coming. Our brains are the same. If I'm sitting next to you, and if I'm thinking about you positively in a nice manner, you're going to get a good vibe from me. If I'm sitting next to you, I may not say anything, but if I'm thinking evil or ill-intended towards you, you're going to get that vibe. Not because it's magic or anything, but this is how the energy is in this massive field. So if this little pendulum is attached to, it's reacting to what I'm thinking, imagine how your body cells are reacting to how you're thinking at all times, how people around you are reacting to how you're thinking. So you are very much an interactive part of your life. So you can think about it, you can think about life that, life just happens to me. I'm at the mercy of my situation, these things don't change. Or you can say that, no, I am creating these situations. I may not know the how, but I'm creating these situations. When you understand how powerful it is that you are, it becomes really fun. You can start intending for things, release the resistance of how it's going to happen, because that will make you question it, and that will make you start focusing on the wrong. Release the expectation to know the how, release any expectation of knowing how fast something is going to come. Just intend for it. Just intend for it effortlessly, how I was intending that this is going to move a certain way. The moment you start intending, the moment your life starts to change. But you have to be unattached to it. So I'm going to give you an example again. I'm going to be very attached that I want it to move clockwise and it should not move anti-clockwise. Let's see where it moves. My focus is anti-clockwise, so it starts moving anti-clockwise. I'll do it one more time. I expect it to move clockwise, but I'm thinking, I hope it doesn't move anti-clockwise. I hope it doesn't move anti-clockwise, and it's moving anti-clockwise. That's exactly what happens with our mind and the focus. So when we go like, I hope this doesn't fail, that's what you're creating. Why don't you say, I hope this succeeds. I expect it to succeed. One coherent thought. The moment your focus goes somewhere else, energy flows there. So you can say that, I hope, things don't go wrong, but you're focused that they will go wrong. And that's what you create. As interactive components of this world, every single experience has an attachment to, or every single experience we have is connected to our internal dialogue about that experience. So if you go into an event in life and you're thinking, I know this is not going to be great, or I hope this is not bad, that's the event you're going to create. But if you go in an event, no matter how many times it has been bad for you in the past, but if you go in the event and you think that this is going to be wonderful, it's going to be wonderful. Because you are creating your reality. You are allowing things to flow in a way and orchestrate in a way that your intention becomes right. Your intention becomes heard, or your wish is granted. That's pretty much how we operate. So the last part that I want to go before we go into meditative exercise is what I was talking about right now, your thoughts and the importance of them being constructive. The destructive thoughts, these ones, how they result in nothing, one positive thought, one destructive thought of equal momentum are going to create zero response. But two positive thoughts of equal momentum are going to be amplified. This is exactly how one must be towards what they want in life, towards their goals. We have goals at every phase of our life. Doesn't matter if somebody's 120, they're still going to have goals. It's just the innate nature of a human being. They have goals and desires for themselves. And you can attain any goal when you think about it with a positive thought, and then you only add positive thoughts to it. But you may think, well, how's that possible? Because, sometimes negative thoughts just cross your mind. Let them cross. Don't make it an intention of yours. Don't make it an expectancy of yours. When a negative thought crosses, don't think, oh, I hope this doesn't happen. Think, I know that what I want is going to happen. So for example, if somebody wants, like I would want, a workshop to go really well, I'm not going to think, I hope this workshop doesn't go bad. I hope this doesn't go bad. I'm not going to think that. I'll think this workshop is going to go great. This is going to go great. My intention is that it's going to be great. And I will keep adding to that. So if a negative thought comes, I can just let it pass. I don't have to address it. I don't have to change my expectancy. I don't have to change my expectancy to, oh, this negative thought, I hope this doesn't happen. No need. I simply let it pass. And I think to myself, I know that it's going to happen the way I expect it. I expect it to be good. So, quantum mechanics has some massively useful things in this entire space. And we talk about meditation and we talk about these amazing techniques that people can use and affirmations and think good to you and bring good to you. I love to talk about this massive consciousness field because it encapsulates a lot of wisdom in it. So the unified field in consciousness in physics is this massive unified field, one mind of this whole world. In religion or spirituality, you can call it God or universe. What I am saying here is it's science. I would call it, you can say the highest intelligence or the highest version of you equates to the same thing. You're talking about then one mind, that one mind. You are a part of that one mind. So when you start going into the meditative state and when you start accessing the deeper levels of the mind, you start having a very clear conversation with this universal intelligence. So if you have an intention that you want to do really good in your business and you want some ideas to do really well in business, you set the intention that I'm going to go in meditation and I want ideas that I do really well in business. Now remember, when you set the intention, you don't think how they're going to come because again, your focus is going out somewhere else. Your focus should remain that your intention is that you're thinking how the business is going to go well. You want ideas, and that is what you're going to achieve in the meditative state. As you go deeper in your meditative state, and the intention becomes louder in your mind, and you sit with that sustained meditative state for some time, an idea may come to you. And you're going like, oh, where is this coming from? It's coming from the very field that you are a massive component of. You are this universal consciousness seeped into a human being, but you have access to everything wonderful just like everybody else. Everybody has access to abundance and wonderful things, health, wealth, you name it. So when you sit in the meditative state and you set an intention and you go deeper levels of the mind, again, no resistance, just calm down and just like enjoy and be home within yourself, an idea may come to you. If an idea doesn't come to you right away, that's okay, don't worry. Come out of that meditative state. You might see something in the news. A friend may call you. Something is going to come to you because of that intention that you set, which is going to be an answer to what you asked for. So the ask, believe, receive thing means that you ask for something. You don't think about the how. You don't add any resistance. You don't think, oh, it might not happen. It's going to happen, trust me. You just have to be in the state of that it's happening and it's going to happen. So, you know, I just find it very exciting as somebody who studied a lot of science and continues to study, because a lot of these teachings that my parents gave me, my grandparents gave me, then Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, a lot of these spiritual teachings are not just good thinking. They're not just happy thoughts. They have so much weight in it. These are pretty much the secrets of life. If you understand these things and you start operating with these principles, your life is in a much better place. All right, so I would love to take you all through a group meditation. We have 15 minutes left. It's going to be a 10-minute meditation. What I'm going to try to achieve today is that we go into the deeper levels of the mind, we completely relax ourselves, and we show gratitude to us. Okay, we show gratitude to ourselves. So if you're ready, raise your hand. Okay, I don't see Jill, but Jill, are you around? Okay, so let's start. So simply get into a relaxed position and allow your legs to stretch if that's more relaxing for you. When you get into a relaxed position, you simply want to close your eyes. You start taking deep breaths and you start getting in touch with your inner self. As your eyes are closed, try to look slightly upwards, just slightly. Not too much that it's uncomfortable, just slightly. Now set the intention that you are accessing the deeper levels of your mind. As I count till 10, you're going to access the most peaceful and deepest level of your mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wonderful. Allow yourself to sustain this deepest level of your mind for some time. As you're in that state, say thank you and take your name. So Randy, say thank you, Randy. You say it in your mind. While your eyes are closed, if you have any part of your body that is uncomfortable, give your attention to that and ask it to relax completely. Find a place of peace within. Say thank you to all the cells of your body. Thank you for the health. Thank you for digestion. Thank you for the oxygen in your body. Thank you for the health. You're coming in complete alignment with yourself. A peaceful place, home. Allow yourself to be in this place and take 6 deep breaths. Slowly. As you have taken your 6th breath, you start coming out of your meditative state and slowly open your eyes. Take as much time as you like. Whenever you're ready, let's have a conversation. Thank you all so much for going into this meditative state with me. If you can please switch on your microphones, I would love to know how you felt about it and about today's workshop as well. Randy, why don't you go first?
Ladies first. Go ahead. I'm here afterwards. Ladies
Pam?
first.
Okay. Yeah, let's go, Pam.
I have to say that I found when I had to, and I actually said it out loud, thank you, Pam. It was really powerful. I found it strangely or strongly emotional.
Yeah. It's almost like your inner consciousness, which is very aware of all the challenges that you go through and how strong you have been through them and how nobody else knows about them. You know about them. It's like you're thanking that part of yourself.
Yeah.
For showing up.
Yeah.
For not hiding. It is really powerful. And as you keep doing that, as you get in the practice of thanking yourself in that deep meditative state, it's so quiet and calm there that you spend some time with yourself, that inner consciousness of yours.
Yeah.
And you have this confidence. And it's also, you start filling your cup. You are more secure within yourself and you trust yourself more. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. It is powerful indeed.
Yeah, it was. And very emotional, I found.
Yeah. Sometimes in meditations, I do cry, and especially with the breathing exercises. So this is one part, but there are several types of meditations where as you're breathing in, you take in relaxation. As you breathe out negative emotions, any stress, any anger, any resentment. And during those exercises, I cry a lot. I just release it all out. It's very healthy. And it keeps me and my body very healthy because all of those negative emotions may be clogged somewhere. But as I release them, I just become neutral, in a very neutral state of nervous system, and feel so healthy.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. What about you, Randy?
Calming, very calming. So like, I know that when you said say thank you to ourselves, to our names, I said it out loud also. And then you said, just say it to yourself. And then I said, okay, I'll say it to myself again, but it's definitely calming. So I have a Peloton and I very frequently do meditation on the Peloton as well. Not on it. In other words, like there's an app that you're saying that, like it puts you, it has some calming music. So it could be before you go to sleep or before, like right after you wake up. I do some of those things. So it's definitely calming.
Yeah. And, I saw you saying it out loud, and then I suggested you say it to yourself. The only reason was sometimes people become a little active in their mind as they say it out loud. They become conscious, but if you're able to sustain the meditative state while you're saying it out loud, then do it. When you say it out loud and you hear yourself saying it, it's a different feeling. Yes, Pam.
I have to say, I found when I was saying it out loud, I felt like my voice had dropped a register or two. And it was like coming from my belly, not from, my vocal cords. It was an really interesting experience.
Yeah. And what I find very useful with this is that it's so easy, right? It's just so simple to get into the meditative state and get in touch with yourself. And sometimes it's very emotional, like today you experienced, Pam, and I experienced too, because it's almost like I get in touch with my truest self. As I go deeper into meditation, I meditate a lot. Sometimes I see colors like purple, blue, and stuff. And I start feeling this peace, as if, I'm very fascinated by this spiritual concept of God. There is God, I know there is the universal consciousness, and that's what I pay attention to. But to think that there is somebody who created me, and if I go into meditation, I remember that was a powerful meditation for me because I ended up crying and ended up feeling very at peace. And perhaps it may not be that there's anything different between accessing consciousness or just calling it God, but I think my intention was to meet somebody who really loves me. That was my intention. And so as I went into the meditative state, I felt extremely vulnerable. And you can feel vulnerable meeting yourself, just your deepest level of consciousness. And it's extremely peaceful. We have 2 minutes left. If you have any questions or if you want to share a thought, please go ahead.
I
Thank you.
apologize.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I need to drop. I've got another call that starts in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
So
sounds
thank you
good.
very much. And I look forward to next week.
Okay. Thank you, Pam.
All right. Thanks.
Sure.
Be well,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And I too have a 3 o'clock, but this was very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Randy. It was fantastic meeting you. I hope you
You
found this
too.
beneficial.